Let me check it out, you got the rest of us. The black hair in your fan. Street poetry is my everyday. But you will not stop if you drop my weight. If I was working at the club, you would not think. Hey, yo, my man Fight Biggie, you got something to say.
I like them brown, yellow, Puerto Rican, and Haitian. Niggas like York, the Zulu nation. Keep it in the jam that we can get down. Now let's knock the roots like the roof H-Town. You got DVD all on your bedroom wall. But I'm above the rim and this is how I fall. A pretty little something on the New York street. This is how I represent
I took you out. The steps on my mouth was my whole damn right. My mom was in the pussy in the foreign state. But I couldn't drop rhymes that you couldn't relate. You couldn't relate.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. This is Noelle Figueroa, the Anointed Pen, and this is the 4th anniversary celebration of the Poets for Purpose Poetry Workshop. Thank you all for joining in. Have to shift things around a bit, but we're going to, make the best of this evening. Thank you all for joining in. For this event, I have two features. Returning once again is Ludi Bootson. Great seeing you again, Ludi. And also featuring is a poet that I'm connecting with for the very first time by the name of Natasha Beautiful Thought. She will be joining us at some point during the session. So we're just gonna go ahead and move forward. Can everybody see my screen?
I can.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, so this is the introductory screen. This is the 4th anniversary open mic. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, and for those not familiar with me already, my name is Noelle Figueroa. I am the Anointed Pen. I am a poet, author, blogger, workshop facilitator, and event host. I am the creator of the Poets for Purpose Poetry Workshop. And I am excited to reach this milestone of 4 years of connecting poets and poetry lovers of all experience levels, backgrounds, and locations, whether it's in person or virtual. Just very thankful for the opportunity to connect with poets from pretty much everywhere. And I celebrate you all. Thankful for the opportunity to be able to create in terms of poetry, and I'm also thankful to be able to create a forum where other poets like myself can freely share their creativity as well, regardless of their level of experience or level of interest. This is a safe place, where everybody can just be free to be themselves and, just enjoy, hearing poetry by others, as well as, sharing your own poetry, just doing this out of the love and respect for the art of poetry. We've already seen time and time again that this is not a fad, this is not a passing fancy. This is a very relevant art form that's been passed on through decades and centuries, and I'm just fortunate enough to be able to, carry on this tradition, in this fashion. Some things change, but then some things remain the same. And when it comes to the basics of poetry, some things are just the same. So I'm just very honored and grateful to have this opportunity. Now, the purpose of the workshop is a few things. First off, it's community exposure to poetry and spoken word. It's an opportunity to develop communication and presentation skills, an opportunity to build confidence as a writer, an opportunity to find inspiration and to be a source of inspiration, and an opportunity to collaborate on potential projects. Now, we're going to start off, before we get into the features, I'm going to start off with the open mic. We have Michelle Monique and Terry Carter on the roster. Terry, are you ready to start off the open mic? I think you're still on mute.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's all right. Are you ready to start us off?
Sure, if you like, sure.
Okay, sure. Let me just adjust the screen 1 second. My cursor keeps disappearing for some reason. Okay, Terry, let me just spotlight you, and you are all set. So you can introduce yourself for those that are not familiar with you already, and also share where you can be found on social media.
Okay. My name, as Noel A. said, is Terry Carter. I prefer Terry E. Carter, actually. And I'm based pretty near Boston, Massachusetts. I live on what's called the South Shore. I was born and raised on the North Shore in a town called Medford, Massachusetts. And last year I was named the Poet Laureate of Medford, Massachusetts. I've written, thank you, Ludi. I've written 5 books of poetry. I'm actually working on my 6th, which I hope to publish in September. You know, I've had the pleasure of being with Noel one other time. One other time, Noel, I think, just one other time.
At least once, at least another time.
Okay,
It was a couple of months back.
Absolutely, and really, you know, enjoyed not only being able to you know, to relate with him on the program, but also enjoy watching what he does and who he brings to the table to expand the recognition of what I think is probably one of the most vibrant and vital art forms that we have, which is poetry and spoken word. So I consider myself a very traditional poet. I don't spit quote unquote. If it's not written down on the page, you probably won't hear it coming out of my mouth. You know, I've got some age, I've got some gray, and so don't stay up here like it used to. But let me get on with this. You can find me if you're interested at www.brownskinnedpoet.net. My books are there. You know, there's some, you know, other poetry that I've shared, and, you know, kind of a description of why I do what I do. So I want to start with a piece I call Kill the Poets First. Kill the poets first, for they will tell the truth and shame the devil in all of us. They will highlight the lack of honor among thieves with assonance, alliteration, and clever metaphor. Put them in shackles and parade them through the public square. Strip them naked if you dare. They will expose the libertarian as the libertine amid the piles of gluttony, hubris, pride, and prejudice that lie at his gout-ridden feet. They will rightly divide the gospel in ways that the jackleg and the profligate and the snake oil prefer, conflate, confuse, and contradict at every pulpit and podium. They will measure with meter the length of the bigot's bloodline, the strength of the captive's confine, the mark of the beastly revenant, the lies which prove most fraudulent, the truth that they seek to circumvent. Kill the poets first, for their lyrics, like fine opera, will peel away the lie and pare down the malice and point out the mayhem in rhyming couplets and piquant haiku and epic odes and hip hop for the homeboys. With their Black Lives Matter and their Save the Planet and their No Justice, No Peace, they will roll the bedrocks of the right wing, of the rabid racists and the reluctant witness back down the mountain we've scaled like a Sisyphus stone, over and over and over again. Kill the poets first, by the bullet and the ballot, by the garrote and the Glock and the guillotine and the gas chamber, by 1,000 disappearing acts and 100 hidden dungeons, by the noose from the bough of an ancient oak, That is the ultimate attention getter, a foolproof message sender, greater in gore than any artist can render, crucifixion for the commoner and the crusader. Owe no allegiance to the song, vow not to the charming verses, smile not at the fragrant lyric, hide not the pretty sonnet in the bowels of your heart of darkness. Kill them first. They will trick you. You will feel the pangs of your lost humanity welling up in your bosom. They will convict you, make you want to buy back your soul from long departed demons who made you crave sin. They will be the straw that breaks your camel's loyal back and causes your beast of burden to spurn the desert of your depravity. Don't let them hold a mirror to our faces. Don't let their light shine on shameful places. Don't let them put our hounds through their paces. Don't let their judges handle our cases. Kill the poets first. Kill the poets. Kill the poets first. Thank you. Thank you very much. So no, should I read the second piece and then I'm done, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So my father was born in Mississippi. He's passed on. His mother was native Choctaw. And I'm just getting to the place, you know, later in life where I'm kind of exploring the duality of you know, kind of, you know, my birth. He was a very, very proud Black man, and he did not really introduce us as children and even as young adults into that aspect of his background. So it's been, you know, incumbent upon us, you know, doing Ancestry.com and all this other stuff to try and figure out, you know, where the native, the first American lies in us. And so I'm, you know, beginning to kind of explore that and write about it. And I wrote a piece a couple years ago called Native Son, S-O-N, Native Son, S-U-N. And I want to share that, and then I'm going to be done. And I just want to listen to what everybody else has to bring, because I'm so impressed with the community of poets that Noel's connected to. I am the child of native soil, native son, and silent subjugation in this dream called America, in this scheme called America. My ruddy roots run deeper than the blackest coal of the West Virginia mountainside, deeper than the river chiseled basin of Bryce Canyon, deeper than the massive tangled tendrils beneath the giant sequoias and the proud New England pines. I was 1,000 nations before 1,000 nations invaded my shore for this dream called America, for this scheme called America. Long before the conquistadors challenged Chapultepec, long before Vespucci challenged Colombo, long before the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, long before the Mayflower in the Middle Passage, my soul was invested in these ancient sovereign shores. I was Comanche and Cree and Choctaw, Sioux and Seminole and Shawnee, Arapaho and Apache and Apalachicola, 1,000 nations before 1,000 nations invaded my shores. I was tied to the land, to its spirit gods and its dancing deities, to the song of the drum and the chants of my ancestors. I made daily sun salutations. I made nightly lunar lamentations. I sacrificed to the great father and the bountiful mother of my existence. I harvested her fields gently, hunted her forests reverentially, fished her waters respectfully. I ran with the wolves and followed the eagle's flight on the wild Appaloosa. I wore the feathers of the hawk and the grizzly's hide and the Brahma bull's hide to honor my kills and to become the essence of my animal kin. I didn't plot counties, towns, and cities on a grid. My people had no concept of owning Mother Nature's bounty or stealing our great father's purple mountains' majesty and amber waves of grain. And still, I was 1,000 nations before 1,000 nations invaded my shores. I was Blackfeet and Blood and Bannock, Inuit and Iroquois in Iowa, Wampanoag and Wichita and Winnebago. I never knew smallpox, whooping cough, cholera, and 1,000 other plagues until 1,000 other nations invaded my shores. I never knew chattel slavery, environmental atrocity, and wholesale genocide until 1,000 other nations invaded my shores. I never knew rampant alcoholism, widespread drug addiction, rampant teenage suicide, and relegation to internment camps until 1,000 other nations invaded my shores. I've seen all my proud native tongues all but disappear amid the centuries-old assault of the King's English. My Rosetta Stone of wondrous native poetry decimated, and the storyteller's tapestry forever lost. I've seen my wisest heroes, my greatest heroes, my wisest chieftains, most elegant matriarchs, and my fiercest warriors confined to postage stamp memories and historical footnotes. From Sitting Bull to Sacagawea, from Red Cloud to Pocahontas, from Jim Thorpe to Geronimo, confined to postage stamp memories and historical footnotes. I used to sow into the fields and fish the pristine waters and hunt in the verdant forests. I never considered a casino-based economy built for busloads of blue-haired elderly white women and inveterate gamblers. I am yet Kiowa and Lakota and Kickapoo, Mohican and Micmac and Mohawk, Ottawa and Osage and Oneida. I am yet 1,000 nations amid the 1,000 nations that now call this nation home. I am the child of the Trail of Tears and the reservation's somber reality, living quietly and crying out softly from the shadows of the heartland, crying out softly to the dream called America and the scheme called America.
Wow, wow, wow. Once again, my brother, ladies and gentlemen, first off, ladies and gentlemen, that was Terry E. Carter. Terry, thank you, thank you. Again, I gotta tell you, I enjoy your poetry. Those pieces, once again, very thought-provoking, very powerful, very effective words and subject matter. Thank you for coming through and sharing. I much appreciate your voice and your time.
Thanks again, my pleasure. And I'm content to sit back and just listen and enjoy. And Noel, I love what you do.
Awesome. Thank you. We may have some space towards the end of the program. If you'd like to read another poem, later on in the program, you're welcome to do so.
I keep a little something in my pocket just in case.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. Next up in the open mic segment is Michelle Monique. Michelle, are you ready?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How you doing tonight?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I was a little late, but I was able to join.
No, that's totally okay. It's good to connect with you again.
Thank you. Likewise. And congratulations for 4 years. That's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so I will get started. Hopefully it doesn't get choppy, but if it does, please bear with me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Monique Antoine, and I am a licensed mental health counselor and multidisciplinary artist. I have 2 books. My first one is Stop, Love, and Listen. It's a collection of poems and journal entries that focuses on being present in life and following our intuition. My second book is Lost and Found. I published this last year, and this is about me finding myself and being lost from heartbreak, insecurities, and self-doubt. So I'm going to be sharing 2 poems, and they're going to be 1 poem from each book. Speak to me. Tell me the answers. Stop running away when I haven't yet grasped it. Slow down a bit. You're speaking too fast. I process things slow. You'll need some patience. Patiently wait as my emotions run wild, like a wilderness beast tugging at your heartstrings. They'll nibble on your core and twist your insides. My heart falls like lead, ricochets off my body, Your eyes become the sun as my skin melts away. I'm still waiting for an answer, some kind of guidance, at least point out which direction to go in. Self-love, they call it, sounds unattainable. What does it look like? It feels unusual. Just start walking, they say, left foot first. That way, if you fall, you'll be right on time. Do you know what it feels like to be 3 steps off? I'm running out of breath trying to be like everyone else. My mannerisms are polite. I'm told I'm awkward. I've learned to say thank you when I'm referred to as weird. I won't get the answer from anyone else, so here I go in attempts to loving myself. I am destined for greatness. 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 End poem, thank you. That's the first one. I'll also leave my Instagram in the chat when I am done, which has my website information and a link in my bio. Thank you all. So this next one is called Whispers, and this is from Stop, Love, and Listen. Whispers sound like melodies. She fiends for your every drop. She wants to taste the ecstasy of her sweet surrender. She wants to keep you close, call out timber. She hasn't forgotten you. She knows your name. When the two of you meet, she goes insane, teardrops of joy. Leave her moist, electric force magnetic, not by choice, attraction. Who can stop her? Nobody. She's gotta have it. Grasp when you embrace her to show you she cares. Whispers to you, I'm not going nowhere. I'm sorry for the time that's passed, disappeared. I'll be better for you now, shedding tears constantly. End poem. Thank you all. That was obviously a little of a different feel compared to the first one. The first is more about self-love. The second one was in the desire chapter. I have a lot of different chapters in Stop, Love, and Listen. But thank you. Terry, I loved your pieces that I heard already, and I'm excited to hear more. And thank you, Noel, for holding the space for me. And
Awesome,
all the poets.
Michelle. Yeah, excellent poetry, Michelle. And yeah, thank you so much for coming through. And I'm still reading your book. I believe it's was it Stop, Look, and Listen, your newest one?
Lost and Found.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, it was Lost and Found that
Yeah.
I purchased a while back. I'm still enjoying that book, and congratulations again on that project.
Thank you so
for coming
much.
through. Awesome, y'all. We're off to an awesome start. Awesome poetry by Terry E. Carter and Michelle Antoine. Thank you guys for your poetry. Now we're gonna jump right into the features. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, can everybody see that all right? All right, tonight's features are our first up will be Ludi Wooten, and then she will be immediately followed by Natasha Beautiful Thought. And here's Ludi's bio. Ludi Wooten. Ludi is a creative thinker and writer. Her passion for writing began at an early age. She was born in Haiti and moved to the United States at the age of 6. Her love for writing stemmed from having to learn English as a second language. She would spend hours enamored with the English language through watching shows like Sesame Street, listening to music, and watching videos. She became captivated by how they would use language to not only help her learn to speak the language, but to create stories. So as a child, she began to use language to write her own narratives through song and poetry writing and writing short stories. Her passion for writing led her to Rutgers University, where she majored in English literature. Her dream has always been to write a book of poetry. She hopes her poetry will cause her readers to get lost in the words in order to find themselves. She hopes her readers will be able to walk away drawing their own meaning out of her writing and lean in to a greater version of themselves. And now, without further ado, oops, sorry about that, y'all. Without further ado, Ludi Wooten. Hey, Ludi.
Hi, Noel. Hello, everyone. And congratulations on 4 years, Noel.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So everybody, thank you again. My name is Ludi Wooten. I've been writing poetry more than ever since the pandemic started. And I actually wrote my first poetry book, Intimately Speaking. You can find the ebook version on Amazon. You can go to my website, ludiwooten.com, to get the physical copy. And so in 2020, when the pandemic and the world shut down, I needed an outlet. So that's how the book came about. I'm currently working on book number 2. My husband is working on the cover for that. So the poems that I'm going to share with you tonight are going to be in the upcoming book. So listen and enjoy. Hope you like. All lives matter. All lives matter. Or does the all part not pertain to people who look like me? You see me and you fear me, yet you say you don't see color. You must be colorblind. Have you ever considered what it's like to be Black in America? We're living in a constant state of fear, wondering who will be next. Will it be my dad, mom, brother, sister, son? Heck, it may even be me. I bet you don't have those same anxieties. Maybe if you did, you would understand why we don't smile as much. We are called angry when we should be called human. We feel and we bleed just like you. Would you be smiling, knowing that the murderers get to live and go home as if nothing happened, while your brothers and your sisters continue to die? Nah, you would be outraged, you would be angry, frustrated, tired. You would demand justice today, not tomorrow. No justice, no peace, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace is what we shout over and over, day in and day out. And yet we will never get it. It has never been given to us because you can never bring back what you've taken away. There's no justice, just us dying, dying, dying. Thank you. I am going to go into the next one. That one was a little heavy, so I'm going to do something a little more fun and upbeat. I'm going to mix it up for you guys. This one was a fun one that I wrote about my daughter. Messy hair, stained shirt, rainbows and unicorn. It's your smile, not too much, not too little. It's perfect because it's yours. It's your eyes, they tell me you're happy. You don't desire much but to be present, to be seen. It's your hair, curly and thick, perfectly yours. It's your nose, the way it's perfectly centered. It makes all your features beautiful. It's your cheeks, so unique. All these things are just things, but collectively and perfectly you. My strong presence of a daughter, go and shake the world up. Be all the things that are lyric, because the world needs you, not a carbon copy. Thank you. So I have 2 more to go, and it's been hard because I didn't know what to pick. So I'm randomly picking these last 2, so hope you like them. This one I actually wrote, I had a coworker at the top of 2021 that passed away from COVID. And Interestingly enough, the book, Intimately Speaking, that I shared with you guys, he purchased several books for his wife and his daughter. And when he got hospitalized, his wife was trying to get in touch with our manager to let him know he was in the hospital. And the only connection they had was my email address that was listed in the book. So she reached out to me. She said, my husband purchased your book and I know you guys work together. And I then connected her with my manager. Fast forward, my coworker has passed away and me and his wife have become very close since then. I always reach out to her, always check up on her. So I wrote several poems about him since his passing, but this one I wrote after having conversations with his wife. They used to go on Friday night dates, pizza and stuff of that sort. So this poem was written after my conversation with her. Took pictures to remember that smile, that face, to capture memories of places and things, all the good times that our love would bring. So happy we got to travel and see parts of the country and just be together. Years of marriage, the storms we weathered, gave us perspective on what mattered, our love, our family, and us. We built it all on trust. I miss you so much. A week already? I was not ready. So happy we took those pictures. I look at them, remembering the good times. No rhyme or reason. Guess it's the season. I must find meaning in it all. Don't want to give up and fall down and break down. We didn't get to say goodbye, maybe because you will always be here with me. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the life and honor of being your wife. And this last one, I am gonna make it fun. So I think I hit you guys with heavy and I'm gonna try to hit you with some fun things as well. So, okay, this one, excuse me, it's called Last Time. When was the last time you let your hair down and just dance? Turn the music up to the max and jam out. When was the last time you danced in the rain instead of running to seek shelter? Let the rain hit your face and taste the water dripping on your lips. When was the last time you danced as if you didn't care who was watching? Getting into the rhythm of the beat of your favorite song. When was the last time you took a brisk walk and enjoyed it? Smile as you heard the birds singing. Close your eyes and took in a deep breath from the morning air. When was the last time you kissed your lover's lips slowly, holding on and hugging each other tightly? If you can't recall the last time you did something you enjoyed, then start. Yes, right now, start right now. Stop everything that you're doing and do something for you. Go ahead and blast your favorite song and dance freely. Go and kiss your lover slowly and whisper sweet words or nasty thoughts for only them to hear. Go and take that walk and be happy you're alive to do it. Life is waiting on you to live it. Time is escaping you daily. Enjoy life, enjoy love, enjoy you. Thank you all.
Yes, excellent, Ludi, excellent, Ludi. Thank you so much for returning for another round, another session of poetry. As always, I enjoy your work also. You know, your perspectives are very unique. Your poetry is very vibrant, energetic, and also very, relevant, to the time. So thank you for taking time out to share your work. It's much appreciated as always.
You're welcome and thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So now we're going to jump right into the next feature, which is Natasha Beautiful Thought. I'm going to share my screen so I could share her bio and bring her on. So Natasha Beautiful Thought is a spoken soul poet, commercial talent, actress, published model, event planner, and host, teacher, consultant, non-attorney special education advocate, and homeschool coach. She is mother to a talented teen boy who is a professional singer and actor. She is the recipient of the National Poetry Awards 2011 Christian Poet and Spoken Word Artist of the Year, 2013 Religious Poet of the Year nominee, and 2016 Host of the Year. That same year, she released her CD titled Spoken Soul 1, Perfect Imperfections. And prior to Beautiful Thoughts, a chapbook, Beautiful Thought has performed with international jazz recording artists. She has opened for Christian hip hop artists, The Truth and Andy Mineo, and in 2019, opened for Stellar Award-winning gospel artist KCJ. She is a resilient woman of God who has persevered through medical challenges and enjoys empowering others, especially relating to health and wellness. She believes God put on earth a richness of ways to heal ourselves holistically. Beautiful Thought took a medical hiatus from 2019 to 2022, recently rejoining the poetry community. And you can connect with Natasha Beautiful Thought at www.mybeautifulthoughts.net. Ladies and gentlemen, Natasha Beautiful Thought. Hi, Natasha, how are you? Welcome.
Hi, good evening. I just want to, I have my earpieces in, so I just want to make sure that you all can hear me okay. I'm honored and delighted to be here. As you just heard, I'm returning from a hiatus, and it is a blessing to be used by God on any platform in front of any person, even just one person. So thank you so much for having me as host and as guest and everybody here tonight. Thank you so much. I want to, as poets, we have so many different things that we write about, so many different things that we can write about. But I want to share with you all pieces of my journey. And so I want to start off by telling you about my best friend. My disability is a best friend. I despise more than my enemy, though I should embrace them both. Everywhere I turn, there she is. She stays home when I can't leave. She keeps me company. She is an unwelcome guest, an unwelcome companion, though I am often alone. She is still unwanted, a guest uninvited. I don't know how to get her to leave. I guess in death, even then she might follow me. But at least she'll be dead. She mirrors my moods, but sometimes she leads. I follow her magnetically, trying to understand her intrinsic, intriguing inconsistencies. Intricately, she is intertwined. I try to shake her, but she soon returns. She understands me, but never I her. A mystery, unmistakably. She's been around long enough for us to bond and grow together. We've grown apart, actually. She is a stranger that never seems to fully leave. All I want now, and I will get it, is some reprieve, please. My disability. So that is bringing you kind of to my journey. Through those couple years, I had a car accident, and it took me through a journey of healing, of which I'm still healing. And that's the irony of we have to accept where we are to be able to move forward. And so, eventually I did that. And even though, as we go through life, there are some things that we can't help but have to take with us. It's like, what are we going to do with it? And so here I am doing what God blessed me with. And so, as we overcome, as I've overcome, as I'm overcoming, I realized it's coming back. At least I now have the desire, rocking to the beat of, you know my name. No battle can turn me. No mountain is going to stop me. No giant can defeat me, because you hold my hand. Because you hold my hand. You know the song. There have been days and nights I rocked in pain and prayed he would let me stand long enough to undress myself. or cook a meal or praise his name. Lord, you know my name. You turned it. Every valley I crawled through, you sent people to remind me I am yours. And my purpose is still powerful. In the quiet and still of the day, whispering pain is temporary, but his glory is forever. And I've seen it, his glory, the glory of the most glorious being, supreme, ruling so majestically. I rocked back then, for anxiety, traumatized by PTSD, not wanting to believe or remove the test that was ever present before me. Lord, you threw a line and wrapped it around me. You saved me again. When I felt like a lone survivor, not thriving, but just barely in motion, when strength was hardly present, you gave me the gift of press. I persevered until I could float without your rope or without a rope, a man-made rope that is, yet you never left me alone, lonely, missing friends, but so consumed with just trying to live, the healing was just beginning. He wanted to see my will inside of his. I see how he took tragedy and made it into testimony and breathed life back into what seemed dead metaphorically. It's coming back. I want to speak. I want to speak a poem so deep that it reaches to the depths of places even family and friends couldn't reach. I want my reach to be extended by the grace given to me to teach, preach that God has given us everything we need. If we stay awake and wait, persevere, watch, and see, there are no dead men walking, only defeated spirits. But I say to you that you too will live. I'm coming back. So that's that piece. So this is where I am today. I'm truly like, oh, I'm like almost in tears, not from pain and tragedy and all that, but I'm almost in tears from just being so thankful that I'm where I'm at today. And sometimes, you know, we look forward and we think about, okay, I got to deal with this. I'm struggling with this and this, that, and the other. But sometimes we got to look back. When you look back and you see what you've come from, you can't help but be thankful. And I'm thankful. You know, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those that love it will eat the fruit of it thereof. Proverbs 18:21. And so whoever you are, whoever we are, all of us, our words are powerful. I understand now why it's so hard sometimes for people to write. And it's not because they have so little to say, it's because they have so much. And I know you, my fellow poets, you understand. It's like, where do I start? What do I say? You know, even the Miss Lady, the last feature, like, you know, what all do I share? What am I led to say today? And so I want to thank you for listening to pieces of my journey. I want to go back for a minute. I'm remembering when I first started writing poetry, I was in middle school. I was in 7th grade and I wrote my first poem. I remember that little poem and the words that I wrote. I was just 13. My first crush and little big dreams. My science teacher told me I'd be on the cover of a magazine. It must not have been a dream because it became reality, but that's not the important thing. It's poetry, I mean. That's the theme. I wrote my first stanza, or maybe it was a refrain. No matter the name, the words matter the most. And dying flowers shouldn't matter because I see some pollen scattered on the ground. I wrote that when I was a teen, but it has an even stronger meaning. No surprise, you revive the poetry in me. Life grows from the cracks in the concrete. And rain can still water a seed that's been planted years ago of love, though not shared, though shared but not spoken. I'm again illuminated. When life storms, beats us down, it's not easy for a rose to stay open. Yet sunshine reaches the innermost petals that way. We have to open up and take a chance at pain, or lest we decay with no purpose. Growth happens when we can be nurtured and loved. Fences keep things out, but yet they keep everything in. Chances taken are opportunities for healing to begin. I'm open. Like the nose on that 13-year-old crush, I will take my chances. I've shut down so many times from misunderstood nuances and lack of. How often could communication have taken place if I hadn't stayed inside my head? Heart was never meant to only love itself, especially when it does not do its best that way. Best friend necklaces always have two parts of a heart. My heart was meant to give. I miss the touch of your hand, each finger being intricately important to help say I missed you with no words. Each word making me laugh more than I have in some time, no jokes, simply the joy of your presence, making things more pleasant. Your eyes looking at me, appreciating my smile, my anticipation of the reciprocity, that electricity that exists from things not done or spoken. I feel the spark that has never dimmed. Even when we try to dismiss, it stays lit over time, time that strengthens any bond that isn't broken. Friendship is a word that does not need to be said, it just is. Just being there in presence is better than in thought. But thoughts only serve self and don't give. Thoughts that come from love, not short-lived, but over time. What good is love? Not given, for that's when it comes back, when you give it away. So here are my petals, fragile, but willing to share the scent of love's dew. Fresh as yesterday, but stronger than before. Time is not what closes a door. That's a choice we must make. They say if you let something go and it comes back, maybe it was meant to stay. But I have questions this time. Do you want to stay? Is the room not just in your heart, but your life? Will you make room for love to enjoy along the way? Are you open to honesty, transparency, and words spoken instead of just in my head and in yours? Life was never promised to be forever, and tomorrow cannot be retrieved. Yesterday is already gone, so all we have is the in between. What happens in that dash is what makes the difference. Do you want love? Okay. That piece could have so many meanings. So, whatever it is for you, from looking at your journey, looking at your start in poetry, looking at your childhood love to how it's developed to like real unconditional love now, or your need to develop unconditional love. It's even partially about my love of poetry and poetry coming back to me. It's so many things, and whatever it is for you, I hope you get that. The last piece that I want to share is love, and it's me, and it's God. That's three. I'm a prisoner of love. I've been locked and handcuffed. The ball and chains are eternal. If I was free, I still would not come from behind these bars. They are a permanent part of me. I take it wherever I go, and it sustains the life around me, not just me. I've seen seeds planted and watered, and abandoned soil become fertile, full of blooms and roots that branch from cell to cell. What lies underneath each one? A seed, that is, implanted within the DNA, reaching the next plot, likened to a family tree, spanning, expanding, outreaching, extending, extensive in its ability to nurture damaged goods, going gathering, ganging up on weeds in people's heads in a way that simply destroys the problem, but not the fruit, waiting to be set free with organic solutions. You can plainly see it working at the base of the tree. Believe me, when I say love is intertwined, interwoven, wrapped around my spine, through my heart, and up to my mind, it's in my spirit deep. To do serious surgery with scalpel and suture with stitches requires that you separate me from me. There is no weather and no conditions that will kill me. Love is a beautiful thought. Do not try to free this beautiful prisoner from the irony of she. I am love because of God within me. I am beautiful thought. Thank you. I'm Natasha Beautiful Thought. Thank you so much for having me and listening. You can connect with me at mybeautifulthoughts.net. Thank you.
Wow, Natasha. Wow, wow, wow. Powerful, powerful poetry. Thank you so much for taking time out to share your poetry. Very glad to meet you virtually. Awesome poetry. And I also want to thank you for your transparency, because I'm a true believer that when we're transparent, we're able to share our best selves, through our poetry, and I think when we're transparent, we're able to connect with others, that may be experiencing the same or similar situations as ourselves. So thank you so much for taking time out to share your poetry. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone in the group tonight on this call has enjoyed it also. Thank you so much.
Mute and talk to one another.
Awesome, awesome.
Terry, Michelle, Natasha. Michelle, am I saying that right? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, it's Michelle.
Michelle. Okay. Well, Noel, are you back?
Yeah.
Talk, let me see.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
here.
perfect. You got it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, connection tends to be spotty sometimes, but I'm hearing everyone clear. Yes, awesome poetry. Y'all, my heart is full right now. There's just a few of us tonight, but guess what? We ate well tonight at the poetry table, okay? Everybody brought their A game, and I just want to, thank you all for taking time out to celebrate this milestone with me. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your talents. We still have some time left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a couple of poems because it couldn't be an event without me sharing my material. So I'm going to share a couple of poems. Then I'm going to bring back Terry E. Carter to share a piece. And then after Terry goes, anyone else that likes to share one more poem for the night will be free to do so. So I'm going to start off. These are two new poems that I wrote earlier this year. The first one I wrote for Black History Month, and it's called "The Glory of Our Melanin." Oh, say, can you see how we're still treated as suspects? How we're still expected to accept second-class treatment? How we're still marginalized, criminalized, and ostracized for the menagerie of our God-given melanin? By the dawn's early light of every single new day, Black and brown kings and queens are subjected to the ignorance of peasants who insist on selfish attempts at turning back the clock 50 years, all because of their seemingly infinite superiority complex. How is it possible that after 400 plus years of slavery, Jim Crow, economic, social, educational, and housing injustice, inequality, and imbalance, that we must continue to fight for our right to simply exist, thrive, and just be who God created us to be? What century are we in? Why are we still criminalized for our color? Can we really call a country great that allows so much hatred, injustice, and inequality to exist? What does it matter calling us, or excuse me, calling the United States the quote unquote land of opportunity if my skin color is seen as a threat or a cap on how far I can go and how much I can freely achieve? You see, the key word here is free. What good is success if it's assumed that I robbed, cheated, or stolen to get my position? What good is success if even when I create my own doors of opportunity, I'm seen as not worthy of my position? Heavy is the head that can't wear their crown and hold their head high in peace. Yet there is still glory in our melanin. There's still power in our voice. There's still wealth in the history of our past that fuels our present and drives our tomorrows. Our ancestors sacrificed and overcame so much hardship. We have their legacy to be our strength. We walk the paths that our ancestors walked before us. We have the blueprint they left behind. So much work has been done, but there's so much left to do. We must remember their faith in God to keep going. We must remember their work and put our hands to the plow. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Don't work where you're not hired. Injustice everywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The glory of our melanin cannot be denied. Thank you. Thank you. So that was The Glory of Our Melanin. And this second piece, also written earlier this year, is called Let It Burn. There I stand with my lighter in my hand, watching flames and charred embers of my disgust dance in the wind. This chapter is closed, over, done with. Once again, it's time to regroup. I've reached the limit of my hell and high water, and before I lose myself, I will lose what no longer adds to my value, my life, and my well-being. There I stand with a clean slate in my hand, ready to write some people, places, and things out of my life. No longer making a priority what makes me an option. There I stand with defined intentions, shutting the door on disrespect and the devaluing of my presence. Here I write a new proclamation, documenting the shift in my journey, so I'll have reminders to refer to in my next season of struggle. Reminders of this moment when I let it all burn. The rejection, the lies, the one-sided relationships, the false help, the selfish, the inconsiderate, the liars, I let them burn, I let them all burn. Here I write with a voice of reason, knowing who I am and where I'm going, acknowledging where I am now and why I'm clear and moving on and letting go. I know my worth, and I'm adding tax, shipping and handling, and destination fees, clearing out the clutter, the outdated, the overrated, the exaggerated, the superficial. It's my time of release. I let it burn. I let it all burn. Here I stand after I brought all the smoke to those who took me for a joke, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, that I wipe off my feet and I walk away from all that made me feel like I didn't matter, and I walk towards the things that show me that I do matter. I've reached the limit of my hell and high water, and before I lose myself, I will lose what no longer adds to my life and well-being. I let it burn. I let it all burn. Thank you. Thank you. So that was some of this new material I put out earlier this year. Thank you all so much. So Terry, if you're ready, you can jump in with your piece.
All right. So I want to echo what's already been said about the beauty of this convening and all of this amazing poetry springing forth again from where it's been I'm humbled in many ways by, you know, by being included. I'm a jazz head, and you know, and I'm going to be transparent with you. I'm older than I look. So I, you know, I've been around for, you know, through some eras where some amazing music has come forth in the jazz world. So I write a lot about jazz. Now, in the jazz canon, there are some particular names that are extremely well known, and one of the great saxophone players was a brother by the name of John Coltrane. Okay, so hopefully that rings a bell with you. And I wrote this piece about a tune that John Coltrane wrote called Naima. And if you've never heard it before, you know, YouTube it and just have a listen, because I think it's some of the most beautiful music in existence. And that's, you know, kind of what inspired me to write about it. So I'm going to read a piece called Reprise for Naima. He would blow this note in the midnight air. Aloft in the ether, it floats out there. Staccato cadence sets a mood of bluesy lyrical attitude. Improvisational mystery like Monk's piano epistrophe, or Miles' tone poem in a silent way, and Flanagan's piece at the end of the day. Syncopated in sharp, bright tone, a countdown to stardust, the twilight zone, like a blue train running against the night, setting the pace, then out of sight. With Hartman crooning or bags on vibes, trios, duets, quartets, and tribes, the blues, the ballads, the avant-garde, incredibly gorgeous, impossibly hard. Giant steps move us miles ahead, cooking up bark for Harlem street cred. Melodies hand to the harmony wed, piano's lullaby, fresh in the bed. Rhythm rocks where the drummer led, rhythm rolls where the bass man sped. Rhythm birthed what the saxophone bred, rhythm heard what the master said. How could he make the bitter taste sweeter? How could a tortured mind delete her? How could the mellowed scotch be neater? How could the smoke from each cigarette create blue notes that cast the net, create blue beads of cascading sweat, create blue haze that confounds regret, create blue nights that we can't forget? Coltrane's notes are a crystal scale, a velvety scream in the urban travail, a heavenly riff of a love supreme, the pungent whiff of a lover's theme. Coltrane's notes are a cozy romance, the breezy bounce of a bop and a dance, the languid lilt of Stray's lush life, the cadence cut by the artist's knife. Coltrane's notes are a standard refined like gold in a pan or gemstones mined, the sparkling glow of a hopeful dream, hot black coffee with a hint of cream. Coltrane's notes are Naima's reprise, like madness that brings a man to his knees, or sadness that comes when lovers part, the gladness removed from the balladier's heart. A tight arrangement cuts the gloom. The melody says that love's in bloom. The harmony spirit engulfs the room. The bride says yes to her lyrical groom. The groove and the beat then jump the broom. The kick drum resounds with a sonic boom as genius is birthed in a soul-filled womb. Musical mythology mocks a twisted path the hero walks. With shield and sword, the hero stalks. The temptress shakes her twisted locks. Medusa snakes his vision sharks. Holds up the mirror to stony blocks. The harp and the horn melt icy rocks. Serpents retreat and symphony talks. Love's door opens as lyric knocks. Coltrane's notes are a paternoster, a hallelujah, and a roller coaster. The glorious jolt of the maestro's hand, the saxophone titan is in command. Coltrane's notes are a crazy rhythm, the squawk of chords and playful schism, the frenetic pace of Mr. PC, the coolest round midnight will ever be. Coltrane's notes are genius refined, like gold in a pan or gemstones mined, the sparkling glow of a hopeful dream, hot black coffee with a hint of cream. Coltrane's notes are Naima's reprise, like madness that brings a man to his knees, or sadness that comes when lovers part, then gladness revived by the balladeer's heart. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Bars, bars, the bars. Like, oh my gosh. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I could only imagine the visuals for that. The words themselves are
Yeah.
powerful. I could only imagine if you couple visuals with that, that would be so Illmatic, like to the 10th power. Like, seriously. Powerful piece, man.
I did another one back in the day, based on a tune called Poinciana. I'm a Jamal, piano player, spectacular. And I did just what you said. No, I did, put visual to it. And at some point in time, I'll dig it up and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. And once again,
You're
thank
welcome,
you.
my brother.
I appreciate
And
your
my
time and your
sisters,
poetry,
God
man.
bless you all.
That was awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, before we close out, again, all of y'all brought something awesome to the poetry table. I'm really enjoying my night, this night, with all of you with me. Thank you so much. Before I close out, I wanna offer some time to the ladies, Natasha, Michelle, and Ludi. If any of you would like to share one more piece before we close out for the night, you're welcome to do so at this time. Natasha, you'd like to start off? Sure, you can go ahead.
Okay. I'm glad I get to go next. I never jump in, but Terry really inspired me. Sometimes you like to follow a piece or whatever, but he really like that was a really joyful piece. Like I can't even just describe it, but I have a piece that I want to follow, and I want to ask this question specifically to Terry, but to everyone, but especially to Terry. What about all that jazz? Early on, music was not sampled, but taught. Great historic teachers held classes nightly in swing spots with constructed stages. Standards were not written in a book, but rather composed on a bandstand, then reinvented. There was not always consistency with it, reinventing the invention itself through the decades and ages. Your age didn't matter, but what era you played in just might. You were schooled every time you sat or danced and listened, banjos playing magnificent, saxes personifying one's inner man, basses upright booming, and soon guitars plucking, drums banging, tinging, keeping time like rhyme. Horns tooted and moaned. The Cotton Club is where it all first called home. New York, New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And without grandfathers like Joe King, there would be no Gillespie. Dizzy, he played until his cheeks got fat and there was no more breath left. Louis Armstrong, likened to an iconic Duke Ellington, yet different. George, also a Duke, left a legacy to follow, or rather hear. This African-American community was a breeding ground, a feeding ground for the strange fruit of the one and only
Billie Holiday.
And though Billy passed away, just like many that came before, the influence will always remain. Voices became instruments, synchronizing, but there was no auto-tune to tune it. You had better know music and be lyrically fluent. Recite the alphabet, scat your knowledge of it. This music would make Gillespie dizzy and Navarro fat. We call that bebop, bop, 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 diddly, crying the blues for the dues that were paid by the traditionalists. So the individuals could be themselves or whatever they decided was that. My antonyms to the culture, yet one and the same. And John, he was a cold Coltrane. And then the artists began to overlap. Writers and musicians began to merge into fusion. Jazz became full of new soul and new sound. Then it went across the waters and added a Latin flair. Gypsy became pretty common. Together, they swung to the melody and the harmony from the West to the East, right through the 70s. And it all began to unfold, or rather fold in rock and funk, which was no longer so discreet. I loved it. And as I heard the new influences in the beat along the journey, a trombone was now named Shorty. Society had evolved, and now music was smooth and contemporary, like Randy Scott and Lynn Roundtree. We still tap our fingers and our feet. Jazz captivated our hearts and our minds through the 20s, right until now into the 21st century. So you tell me, what style do you need? What about all that jazz? It's all about jazz. So let's not pretend like it's anything else. Right, Terry? Thank you.
Oh my entire God. Like seriously, like, my God, like Michelle was just saying, she was saying that she loved the transition, and I'm in full agreement with her. That was like one of the dopest transitions I've ever encountered in a long time. I'm like, the connection between the two poets and the two poems was like fire, straight up fire.
Yeah, you had me going. I was like,
oh my
that.
God.
Like,
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
You know, it's Bible. It is
Wow.
finished.
Yeah, you know what
Can
I'm
I
saying?
say
It's like,
something?
my God. Yes. Wow.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like I transformed into the jazz era, thanks to you both. So I really appreciated that. I enjoyed that so much.
Yes. I'm in full agreement. I'm like, you could just see the vision in your mind. The words are bringing the visions in your head of what could actually be taking place. You know what I mean? It's just phenomenal. Natasha, thank you so much for sharing that. Awesome.
Can
Awesome.
I want to say thank you because, you know, and I don't want to belabor, but you know, every poetry, you know, when you connect with poets, like I don't think this is just like as poets we connect, like these are some of our deeper innermost thoughts and feelings, or you know, whatever. And it's really awesome to be connected in this way. And I just want to say, all the artists were great, but at that moment, you know, I talked about, you know, some of the negative things, and of course we overcome, and we talk about the testimony and all of that, but that joy, you know, being able to feel that joy, I really got that, and it really deposited into me. So I just wanted to share that. Even when you talk about something that's not specifically where we say God, or you know, I loved it. I loved it. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're eating good tonight. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you,
this poetry spread is leaving me full and satisfied. Like seriously, thank you. Michelle, Ludi, either of you or both of you want to share one more poem before we close out? You're welcome to do so at this time.
I can, it's a different feel, so but I really appreciate what I just heard, but it's kind of about self-love again, and it's from my second book, Lost and Found. Okay. And this was the language in this, it's not too long of a poem, but the language in this was a little inspired by Maya Angelou. It's been 7 days with a dab of forever. The floodgates haven't yet opened, but it seems I walk with a weight I didn't ask for. As if each heartbreak is a link in a massive chain of defeat. I'm not sure how much longer I can survive with the wind knocked out of me. Loss after loss after loss, simultaneously finding myself after each one. As if I lose myself in these relationships, I try to find myself. I am often blinded, stuck in a fog of desperate approval, constantly looking around rather than within. My penmanship has always taken a liking to the words, I love you. A couple years ago, I replaced you for me, and I've been trying to live that way ever since. I love me. 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 And peace. Thank you again.
Awesome, awesome poem, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sorry, Noel, I was trying to get off mute and I couldn't get off mute. So I hope you guys can hear me now.
Yeah, you good. I can hear you. You're good.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this one and then I will tell you what it's about, okay?
Mhm.
You were once empty. I filled you up with boxes and things that were important to me. You kept everything safe, not in plain sight. You kept everything right where I left them. I kept adding and piling more and more because you gave me the space to do so, to add one more item, another box and another, until the empty spaces needed their own space to breathe. No wiggle room to check what was in those boxes. I could no longer remember what I needed those things for. Now you are no longer empty. I no longer enter as much. It would be too much work. It would take too much time to unpack, organize all those boxes and things. So I keep avoiding you. I must go back in, figure out what to keep and what to get rid of. That's not as easy as it sounds. Everything in here was once important to me. Now I don't even care to remember why I left you holding things that were mine. Never considering you had your own boxes to unpack. We are walking around with rooms in our heads that are filled up. We need to do some spring cleaning, open up the windows to let the air circulate. No wonder we feel like we're suffocating. We mask up because we're boxed up and forgotten, inside rooms that were once empty. I must make room for new things that I will pay attention to, unpack often, spend time with. Sit in the middle of the room and have conversations with my past pain and trauma. Give you the same opportunity and time to breathe on your own. I didn't ask you if it was okay for me to take up that much space and never come back. Thank you. So I will tell you guys what this is about, and then I'll tell you what I reference. So I often do something when I write poetry, it's about one thing, but then I try to mirror it so that it can be about many different things, leaving the reader to guess what it is. So I wrote this this poem about my closet. We moved into a new house and I filled this closet up with, boxes that we moved in. And I promise you guys, there's still boxes in there that I have yet to open. But in writing it and starting to look at the closet, I also used it as a metaphor for relationships, how we are closed in and boxed in, and we all have our rooms inside of our heads, but yet we're together, right? So that was the poem called Boxed Up. Thank you.
Wow, Ludi, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you again for sharing that. Again, thank you all. Every one of you brought something to the table, something unique. Each one of you had something powerful to share. And, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out to celebrate this milestone. 4 years, time flies, and, I've had my own challenges in trying to stay consistent, with doing events like this. And I'm learning that, or I've been learning that, it's not always about numbers, it's about quality. So I'm satisfied with the quality of this event. And I know that each of you could have been anywhere tonight, but you chose to take time out of your schedule to share your hearts, to share your passion. And I just want to say thank you. I was truly blessed by what each of you had to share. And I want to encourage you all to, stay connected with one another. Let's continue to build with one another, support one another, and encourage and continue to be encouraged in pursuing our passion. And I'm truly grateful for your time and your talents. So thank you so much. Before we close, I just want to share one more screen to go over just a few more particulars. So can everyone see that okay? I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you to my features, Ludi Wooten, and Natasha Beautiful Thought. I want to thank Terry E. Carter and Michelle Antoine for all of you taking time out to participate in this event. Your poetry was powerful. Connect with each other on social media, that support one another, even if it's a like or a comment. We can't always make each other's events, but we can share information. We can like or comment on each other's posts, that kind of thing. Any way we can support each other while we're pursuing our passions, is always welcome and always appreciated. And I'm just grateful to have this forum and to be able to share this forum with you all. And I'm just grateful to see it growing. Poets with Purpose, the Facebook group, I'm at about 300, I believe it's at about 330 members now. So it's steadily growing. And I'm just grateful for the growth, and to be able to share this with you all. For those that don't already know, or for those that are not already connected to Poets with Purpose, you can connect with the Facebook group Poets with Purpose. It's also on YouTube. They also got a YouTube channel of the same name, Poets with Purpose. Also can be found on Twitter @PoetsWPurpose. The next event I have planned is going to be an in-person open mic on Saturday, September 10th, 2022 at 6 p.m. It's going to be called the Scribes Cafe, and then the location of it is going to be my church, Nazareth Christian Fellowship, which is in Brooklyn, New York. More details about the event are forthcoming. I'm still in the planning stages. So once the details are finalized, I'll be posting the flyer on my social media for you to share with you all. For more information about Poets with Purpose, you can call me at 646-372-6230, or you can email me at poetswithpurpose@gmail.com. All of the flyers that you see done, like for example, tonight's flyer and all of my past flyers, as well as my logos, were designed by the awesome team at Eclipse Graphics. You can find them on Instagram @EclipseGraphicsNY, or you can go to their website, eclipsegraphicsny.com, to see samples of their work and also connect with them if you need any work done for yourself. And lastly, anyone interested in making a donation to Poets with Purpose, you can do so through PayPal, Tap Media Man, Cash App, $ Anointed Pen, and through Zelle, utilizing my phone number. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. Thank you all so much. This video will be uploaded to the Poets with Purpose YouTube channel, as well as Facebook, in about an hour or so, depending on how fast it uploads. Once it's uploaded, all of you are welcome to share the video on your own social media pages and circulate it as you see fit. This was an awesome night. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Ludi. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Natasha. And thank you, Michelle. Awesome poetry, very relevant poetry, significant poetry. Thank you all so much. And I encourage you to keep writing, keep sharing, and keep believing in your gifts, because it's relevant, it's important, and it matters. And it certainly matters to me, because my heart is full right now. It truly is. Thank you all so much. I wish you all a good night and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Let's stay connected, y'all, and God bless. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.